Welcome to Bootstrap Businessmen, the podcast devoted to the aspiring entrepreneur on a shoestring budget. Here are your hosts, #1 best-selling fitness author Dale L. Roberts and the Midwest's best, Kevin S. Allen.
What's happening? This is Dale L. Roberts representing Bootstrap Businessmen. This is the podcast devoted to inspiring the aspiring entrepreneur within on a shoestring budget. And man, I'm joined by my good buddy, best friend, I would say, Kevin S. Allen out there in the Midwest. Kevin, you know the question, so why do I even have to ask it?
Man, I'm doing great, buddy. And I'll tell you what, soon enough, be home.
Yep.
Yeah, about 30 days.
Old Dale's coming home. So, yes, the Midwest is going to return to life as usual. So those of you that were considering suicide or contemplating on giving up on life, I'm returning to Ohio. So now, wow, that was, man, I just really made myself sound like an
Where were you going with that, man?
This went really dark, really fucking quick.
Yes.
I want to make an apology. I should not make fucking light of suicide. I've actually
No. And after the last 3 days,
let's rewind the tape. Let's start it all over again. Fuck it.
Yes. And after the last 3 days of the content that you just put out, that was pretty dark.
That's really dark. It went down the deep end. It's funny. You and I actually, as I was going through this process, you were one of the very few people. We'll get to this in just a second. You kind of took it down the dark alley. You just made sure it was in covertly. It was in a message. I was over in Bionic Vapor's Twitch channel today, and of course BV is sitting there, plugging my, my YouTube channel, and people are, going, oh, awesome. And I was like, yeah, I just released a kid's book today. And this one person, of course, saw my self-publishing with Dale L. Roberts videos and was just like talking about like ding-dongs and everything else like that. Yeah, you got to write a book about ding-dongs. And I was like, are you talking to freaking Kevin S. Allen? I was just like, what is the deal here? You people think I just have this perverted mindset. So those of you that are just tuning in, before we jump into the things, you can see that I'm not wearing my normal attire because I am running on about 4 hours sleep. And that is the life of an entrepreneur. I am not complaining, nor am I bragging. It's just a statement, and that's that. It's not like, one of those people. It's like, yeah, I make $10,000 a month. No, this is not a dick measuring contest, and I don't expect for you to sit there and try to keep up. It's my choice to work all night long on something, and we'll talk about what I was working on in just a second. But it was my choice, Kevin.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It's like playing a video game. Remember? Well, actually, you never got into video games. My brother and I, as kids, when we were given the opportunity, we would play all night long, like till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, man. We would sit there and play video games. Actually, especially at our Uncle Mike and Aunt Colleen's. They used to have the original Nintendo. So we'd play Zelda. And they're like, go buck wild, have fun. We were just like, all right, cool. I remember playing Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom on Nintendo.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Yes. Oh man, I'd play that game at any time. It's so funny, man. I was so passionate about games then. I like if I lost or I couldn't get past a level, dude, I would cry. Legit would cry. My brother would just get mad. Walt would just be like, yeah, he would just get mad. No, I cried. I was so passionate about it. I would just be like, why did the developers of this game make it so fucking hard? Actually, I didn't say fucking because I never cursed as a kid. I was like, it's so freaking hard, and I just would freak out. But now it's so funny. It's completely different being in the self-publishing industry as we're going, which I'm going to give a heads up right now. If you're tuning in to Bootstrap Businessmen today it's going to be very heavily entrenched in self-publishing because Kevin and I haven't had a chance to actually talk person to person about some of this stuff. So if you're not into self-publishing, you're not digging into it,
you're going to
want to tune out, but you're going to get some really solid information. I'm going to give you some stuff, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to tell you how I got a book in less than 24 hours into the bestsellers list right at the top. This is just amazing. But I stayed up all night long. It just reminds me sometimes when I stay up. I think I went to bed 7 o'clock this morning, up all night. Had got
I
up.
was gonna say it was I was talking to you 9 o'clock this our time here, so 3 hour difference. Yeah. But I tell you what, man, when something grabs a hold of you like that, and you got the passion, you got to see it through. You have to finish it.
It's so funny. It's like see, I've never run marathons before, but I can at least liken it to that. Or even something as simple as any kind of projects I used to do at work. When you get to that last few miles on a marathon, you just get that burst of energy. It's almost like a high. You just get that adrenaline burst, and it's like that for me in self-publishing. When I start to know that I'm getting to that point to where I can actually upload it and press the publish button, like, my heart starts beating fast, my adrenaline pumps, and like I get really excited. And so to kind of back up the train a little bit, it was about a few days ago, and it's actually been kind of on my mind for quite some time, being in self-publishing.
I was gonna say it's been a while. Yeah,
it's been on my mind, and it was actually a few days ago that I was able to meet up with my niece and nephew, my little sister's nieces and nephews, both Ella and Sam. And they're little kids, 11 and 5, I think. Sam's a little friggin' spider monkey, man. He's all wild, man. He looks like the little version of me. Like, he's got the blonde hair, and
nice.
fiery kid. Yeah, he definitely looks like he's related to Walt and I. Looks so much like us as a boy, but yeah. And I don't know, it was just that small tick of inspiration that said to me, let's get this going. And I was like, okay. And so I thought, I've always been wanting to do kids books. And it's not just like doing like the joke ones, like, Go the Fuck to Sleep. By the way, did you get that download? I sent that to you. You didn't get it?
Which one?
Go the Fuck to Sleep.
About what?
You never got that?
Oh yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson actually does. That's actually really popular right now in publishing. So those of you that are into any kind of parody or joke type things, adult parodies of children's books are hot right now. Now, I unfortunately, I don't know. I guess I just don't have. A lot of people think, oh, you're witty. You put a lot of things on self-publishing with Dale L. Roberts, things like that. Yeah, but I guess my heart doesn't go towards that direction, and I don't think I'm as sharp. And I think sometimes I might, for instance, we start out the thing with me poking fun at suicide. Sometimes I cross the line a little too far. So I don't think adult parody books of kids' books is going to be my thing, because I will probably push my luck and get into some hot water. And I'm not trying to get into hot water. I really like my self-publishing business. So I'm not going to get it ruined by me making this is why rape is good, put out a fucking kid's book, like that's called that, I'm not saying that. Wow, holy cow.
Man.
As an example, I wouldn't do that, by the way. Anybody listening
now me on the other hand, I would push the envelope. And,
right, and see, that's that's what's so good about you. And see, where that line is sometimes. Me, unfortunately, it's funny, I always tell people I played a heel on television. I would play the bad guy on television. So sometimes, whenever I get insulted or I get, direct attacks or people trolling me, does it tweak me sometimes? Yeah. My natural instinct is to go into heel mode, where I'm like, I don't care about you, and here's the reason why I don't care about you, and this is why I wish that you would get mauled by a bear and done in front of right in front of your own kids. That's just the way I am. I just I'm naturally a heel. So once again, that's just you where that line is, and you can go up there, and I know sometimes you'll go past it, but I think in the public eye, you're a little bit more. You have more tact, I think.
A little more laid back with it, yeah. But as far as look at Blacklist. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
So
I get to take credit for that one, though, man.
You do. That was your idea, And I was just sitting here one night. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to see what I can get away with.
It's brilliant too, man, that you got away with that. And I really wish we can go delve into that a little bit further, but out of respect of privacy for you.
Now, in the title not the cover, but in the title when you open up the Kindle, you know, and it lays out your title and subtitle and everything,
Yeah.
right? Okay. I had to remove that. But if you look, it's blatantly still on the cover. And when you open to the first page, it's bam, it's right there on that first page, the title. So either somebody just didn't give a shit, or
it's such a, here's
You know?
kind of like a little bit of a nitpicky thing here, coming from self-publishing coach himself here, is looking at that cover where it does say on Amazon. It unfortunately, if somebody's looking at thumbnail, it just looks blurry. I can't make it out. Whereas if you're actually on the product page itself, you can read it. It's very readable.
The dripping paint can, that's the font that I use.
Yeah, I think I'd seen that one before. We had one viewer, and I think I offended him with the joke. Listen, folks, I'm sincerely expressing my greatest apologies. Two really distasteful, bad jokes. I promise I'm easing up. So today, let's talk a little bit about what I was doing. So what I was doing was I put together a kid's book, and okay, there's something that many people may not know about me. I love cartoons. I've been a lifetime fan of cartoons, and it surprises people when I say, oh, I watched the recent Pixar movie, or I watched the Disney movie, and this and that. A lot of people are like, what? You don't have any kids, though. I'm like, so? I'm like, you know.
Wife and I do that.
Yeah, I love watching cartoons. It's just something that's always been in me. That's why I've enjoyed, such cartoons like Family Guy when it first came out, because I was like, oh, this is more along my lines, Things like South Park, that's been along my lines. But I can still go and watch SpongeBob SquarePants and still enjoy that because I think it's funny.
Sure.
Sure. I enjoy things. And I can turn on Nickelodeon and be completely content with any kind of cartoon that might be playing. Cartoon Network, you can turn. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. Like, for some reason, anime goes way over my head. Harold's boy is huge into anime, which, by the way, got to share some artwork. Harold sent me a picture of his son's artwork. His son's like 17 now. He's getting close to 17, if not getting close to 18. And the kid's huge into anime. And man, that kid's got some talent, man. Oh, dude, yeah. He's got some serious talent, man. Some good skills.
Nice.
But in any event, knowing that I like cartoons, love monkeys. I've got a monkey obsession. We have tons of monkeys in our house, all throughout our house. Now, listen. For the record, yes, there's a difference between monkeys and chimpanzees. Monkeys have tails, chimpanzees don't. Okay, so really, technically, the book I put out today is a chimp book. Okay, otherwise there would be tails on these guys. But we're just going to call them monkeys because everybody generically calls chimpanzees monkeys, even though they are apes.
Sure.
So, any event, so put the cartoon of that, put the monkeys together. So this is what I did. I developed a whole thing in my head, and I wanted to get it to where I could kind of get somebody that was having some issues with anytime they were alone, they were unhappy. I mean, do you ever know anybody that they can't stand being alone?
Oh, sure. 99% of anybody you talk to be honest with you, they don't know. They haven't reached that level of fulfillment with themselves, right? To love themselves, be okay with that. It's time to meditate. It's time to dance around, be silly, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever makes you happy, that's okay. And you don't need somebody else to do that. Yeah, but that's honestly, dude, 99% of people.
It is. It's so funny. And sometimes, if you notice, and we'll go a little bit further into here talking about the concept, but with that concept, what I really wanted to do was, there's a lot of people out there that truly aren't comfortable with being by themselves, and they look to other people for that level of fulfillment. And that's really what I wanted to kind of cover. I can't say I've always been like this.
I haven't either.
I've always been comfortable. I've always been self-entertained. So in other words, if I know there's nobody going to be around, I'm not like trying to search for the next occasion or trying to track somebody down or browbeat somebody to spend time with me, because you could literally isolate me. I bet you if you were to pick me up, put me on a deserted island, come back another 3 months from now, I'd probably be like, other than a long beard, I'd be like, hey, what's happening? Yeah, I've been sitting here playing tic-tac-toe by myself. That's how self-entertained I was, as a kid and growing up. And the funny thing is, my brother and I there's only 3 years apart. But the thing is, he would go hang out with like a lot of his older friends. And see, the thing is I knew that there was always just that little brother type issue. Like if I go hang out, I knew that right away. If I go hang out, I'm going to get picked on. I was going to be the butt of the jokes. So sometimes I just knew where to pick my battles. So sometimes I'm like, I think I'm good by myself. I'll just go ahead and play G.I. Joes by myself. Or I'd read books for hours on end, and the day would be gone for long. So I think I've been very blessed with that ability to actually be okay being by myself and being self-entertained, especially being a writer as well. Any kind of writer probably can agree with me on this, is you could spend hours at a time in your own world. You're just trapped in your own head. You're almost like you've created your own social life inside yourself. For lack of better words, it's almost like a schizophrenic type separation. You have different characters you're able to kind of conversate with in your own head. And I'm not trying to make light of schizophrenia by any stretch, okay? Made my jokes before. This is not a joke. It's, literally. Yeah. It could be like, for instance,
it's metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, inside this book. So this is the thing is, so the book was based around 2 monkeys because I just thought, well, this is going to be good. I had already done my research in kids' books, and I discovered that kids love animals, of course.
Sure.
What kids don't. I mean, and most kids are entertained by cute, cute things. And so this is what I did. I kind of had a rough idea. I wanted 2 characters. Okay. I wanted one that would represent me. Okay. You probably know which one's me. And also I wanted to get the other one that represents kind of that avatar of somebody who struggles with separation anxiety, and I'm sorry to, I'm not trying to make, once again, God, I'm gonna have to kind of cover up my tracks after really distasteful jokes. Separation anxiety, I'm not trying to make light of anxiety. It is a very true thing, and it can be a very big problem. I've actually had my issues with anxiety a number of years ago when I was going through my severe back injury and, divorce and everything else like that. Anxiety was big, man. I thought I was going and having a heart attack sometimes. But in any event, so I wanted to create this avatar of some people that find it hard. It's like, oh, wow, hey, you're here. Yeah. I've been bummed out.
Yeah.
Lately, it's like, it sucks. It was really cool when we hung out the other day. I always feel so sad for sometimes some friends and some of my acquaintances that, when I reconnect with them, all they have is sad things to share. And I'm like, my God, one of the greatest things that you have is the ability to be alive. You have a benefit over other people that aren't alive. You are blessed with this ability. So, I think one of the things is if you're alone, well, first of all, A, either be comfortable with it, or B, do something about it. Do something about it. Hey, look. So, I entertain myself. If you're not comfortable being alone, then you better start surrounding yourself with more people. So there's always just that balance. And that's why I really wanted to do with the concept of this. So came up with Grumpy Gus. Grumpy Gus is going to be a recurring character. He's my avatar, if you will. He's going to be my guy that's going to be having a lot of issues over the next 6 to 12 publications.
You know what, man? Honestly, anybody who's listening, you definitely have to pick this up. Adults, children, it's a great message. But honestly, if you can start reading it to kids at an early age, and really ingrain that in them, man, they're going to be so far ahead when they become an adult. Right? They're going to be a complete person when they enter into a relationship if they can grasp this, because you don't have to worry about somebody else making you happy, or doing something for you. No, dude, the message in this, as soon as I read it, I was like, love it, love it, love it.
And, the nice thing is, here's the thing is, see, I've read many, many books over the years, and I read many kids' books, growing up and even going into an adult life. The thing I've noticed with kids' books that they get so wrong is to get preachy.
Yeah.
I can go back a little bit to when I had a comic book. I actually got this at church one time. It was like there was yeah, I did go to church at one point or another, believe it or not. And they had prizes on it.
No,
I saw a comic book, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a comic book. It was Archie. Remember Archie's comics?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was Archie's Parables. Okay, and Archie's Parables, uh, it was scary. I've since sold the comic actually. It wasn't worth very much, which I was kind of surprised because it actually had reference to Nazis in the actual comic book. Right, that tells you how old it was.
Wow, yeah, yeah.
And and it did go back to like the 1940s, but it was definitely post World War II. It was in great shape. I didn't, I just didn't have any kind of personal attachment to it, but it was so scary to me because it would show these stories, of course, based on Christian beliefs and such. So it worked really well for me as a kid when I was, church going and such. But the issue that I ran into is they would get to the end of the particular storyline within the comic book. There was numerous stories throughout. And they would force feed you, this is what this means. This is what we want you to believe. This is what you should take home. They might as well just put a quiz at the very end. And to me, that takes the joy out of the reading process. When you've got to be like told, you got to, someone's got to hold your hand and say, oh, well, this is what this movie's about, or this is what this book's about. No, I want to kind of get it to where people can read a story, something that's engaging, and draw their own assumptions out of it. So that's one of the things I really wanted to do was not come out and say to people, this is what you need to take home from this, but I want them to see. It's almost like telling a story. Instead of telling someone, you're showing them. And that's what I really want to do is I wanted to show and not tell. And that was the whole thing. And that's why you hear me repeat inside the story, the sing and dance and yell out Yahoo, that right there, that part I said like 3 times.
Dude, so cute.
And the drawing the pictures thing, and and I just thought it was just it evokes happy emotion. You even see it inside the pictures. Anytime I do it, you see like the bright background and such. And man, it was such a fun process. So it was funny. This is how I did it. I got into deposit photos. The very first thing is I bought stock of monkeys' heads. I bought stock of arms, I bought stock of legs, and I bought a stock of like a completely different parts of monkeys. And I actually only took the torso from that, and I pretty much bastardized it. I took it and I got it to where it matched the head, and then I took the same thing with the arms. I got it to where it matched the head. So that way the entire body matched. And then I just really started to take the heads. Now here's the thing is, they only kind of give you one of each head. So there was actually... I've actually got about 3 stocks of monkey heads. Okay, they had 9 on each one of those. Now there was only 2 that I took from them, and I was able to take some of the expressions from the other ones. But then some of the other pictures, or some of the faces, are actually unique. I actually created myself because I actually would take the smile, I would tilt it. I would put a different smile in altogether. I would take a smile from somebody else, or I'd take a frown. And then I got into the eyes, which of course, the eyes are a huge thing. I didn't want it to where they're like completely just staring at you the whole time. I wanted to get it to where, like, for instance, you'll notice, one point or another, you could see the monkey like looking off to the side like that, almost like, suspiciously. I wanted to, that right there was a bitch. Let me tell you, the big puppy dog eyes. When he looks sad, he looks like he's going to cry. I created those. I literally did those ones from scratch. And it was so funny because I knew I had a winner. When I showed it to Kelly originally, the first couple of shots, she was like, "Aw." And I showed her that. I got the almost crying aw when I showed her like the puppy dog eyes one, because she's a sucker for that, because I'll do that sometimes. I go, "You going to go get some pizza?" But in any event, though, so I was working on those things. The arms were a bitch. Oh, man. I had a ton of arms I could play with, but the problem is not always the best positioning. You got these small arms and these large heads, which I really wanted to make it that way. I wanted to have huge bobbleheads. That's essentially because I think it looks cute. That's pretty much.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially on a chimpanzee. You know what I mean? Yeah. In a kid's book. Absolutely.
So, in any event, I created the 2 characters. So I had those set to where I knew who our 2 main characters were. I built the entire body. So then when I wrote the story. And I sat there and I stared at my computer screen for what seemed like forever. I just was like, oh man, I was just dry because you could tell me, you can wake me up out of a dead sleep and I'll write you a fitness book. But this is the first time I've done a kid's book. So I just sat there and I thought to myself, okay, thought about the message I want to communicate. And I thought about alliteration. I wanted to have some alliteration to where it's just, things like one of the main characters, Louie Lou. Now a lot of people are like, oh, he blatantly stole it from Louie Louie. You're damn right I did. Actually, I think you and I were talking about doing Loopy Lou or Loop-de Lou or Lopsy Lou.
Loop-de, yeah.
And the only reason why I went to Louie Lou at the last minute was when I was going through and I was editing, I was like, why should it just be Louie Lou? And that'll at least some parents that read it right now can sit there and remember Louie Louie,
Yeah.
And I just thought, yeah, and that'll get people kind of smiling and get you kind of cheering for like the good guy that comes in and inspires his friend to kind of, hey, cheer up, dude. You got a life to live. So that's when it started flowing, dude. Like literally, I think I took and I finally, when I was done writing it, it took me for 370 words, believe it or not, it took me probably about a half hour, 45 minutes, because I go back through and I would just read it and I read it in its order and I make sure it flowed right. And then even as I was fixing it last night and doing the backgrounds, I was still tweaking it because I was like, ooh, I like this better. And so essentially I just went ahead, I laid it all out on Keynote, which if you guys are looking at doing something like this, I would recommend either using Keynote or you do PowerPoint through PC and set it up this way. And the nice thing is you take your images, you drop them down, you can put your text into there, and then you can just drop your background and it's all set. Now, easier said than done for me because I don't make anything fucking easy.
Right. How much time did you spend in GIMP?
Most of the time was spent developing the characters. If I were to guess, man, I'm going to tell you this and you're going to be like, what the fuck? You're going to be blown away here. I would say I spent 12 hours over the last 3 days, each day, working on this. 12 hours.
Wow.
Sitting down and just really working. Because, you got to think there's about 36 pages, each with 1 to 2 characters on it. And each one of those characters are not repeated once throughout the book. You'll see similarities, but they're not ever repeated. Nope, not repeated. Yeah. Now, front cover is going to be the exception to the rule. I think I took my 2 best ones, and I wanted to get it to where it actually looks like they're pushing back the brush and they're coming through on the front cover. I don't know if you noticed that because you see the one where he's holding his hand up. Louie Lou's got his up, and the other one's like doing like this. It's almost like he's pushing that out of the way. He's going his grumpy ass looking face.
Let's see.
So the next thing that came is the backgrounds took me. I thought it was just going to be like that, but go figure. As soon as I saw some really cool ideas, I started to expand on it. That's why you see some zoomed up the monkey faces, and sometimes they're far away, and sometimes they're on the left side of the page, sometimes they're on the right side of the page. Anytime they talk, they got word bubbles. I like having the word bubbles. It's just like a comic book to me. So when I got done, I saved or I put it as PDF, and then I got what's called the Kindle Kids Book Creator, and you can actually get that over at kdp.amazon.com. You can get a download for PC or on Apple, and it literally it's very simple. It walks you through the whole damn thing, and all you got to do is just upload your PDF to that. You'll go through. Now the important thing is there's tutorials, by the way, on YouTube. You can just search it up on how to use it. I found one guy, I think his name is Bruce Jones. Bruce, was really, really good at explaining the whole process. But you want to make sure you have your cover inside there, because when you make it in Kindle Kids Creator, unlike when you upload normal books, okay, they'll take your cover and put it over onto that. Well, with this right here, you're automatically attaching it. So,
okay. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, and the Kindle's Kid Creator also locks all your images in, so it's not all fucking wonky. So I would recommend for you, my friend, if you're doing your picture books from now on, you may want to consider start looking into the Kindle Kids Creator. It's not just for kids book, in my opinion. If you're doing picture books, by the way, anybody may be listening to this, if you happen to do any kind of photography books, any kind of picture books, things like that, consider using the Kindle Kids Creator. Don't worry if you happen to be doing like, say, like nude photography or something like that for Amazon and stuff. You're not automatically uploading it into the kids categories. You're still uploading it as a actually .mobi file. When you upload that into, you know, your normal process, you're still doing everything else. You're doing the title, you're doing the subtitle, you're doing the series, author, everything. Nothing else has changed. It's just the actual getting it prepared for the upload that's a lot different through the Kindle Kids Creator. So that right there, it was kind of an eye-opening experience. The part that actually I was kind of surprised about was there's something called pop-up. Okay, now not like normal spammy pop-up you think of. So let's say, for instance, you've got a small phone and you have your Kindle app on here, which, by the way, Kindle apps, if nobody is familiar with this, it's completely 100% free. They want to give it to you for free because they want you to get their friggin' books. So get the Kindle app. I've always liked it. It's compatible with most any device. If you can get Google Store on your phone or Apple, probably Apple iStore too, I imagine, you can get the Kindle app. But in any event, sometimes devices are so small. So let's just say, for instance, you're reading this picture book. You can't see the text on it. Well, you're screwed. But the pop-up feature that's available through the Kindle Kids Creator, you can actually tap where the thing is at, and it pops it up. Well, I'm thinking that you just highlight the area, and it pops it up. No. Not that simple. It's not. You can do that on your Kindle device. You can zoom in on anywhere on, you know, any book.
Sure.
When it comes to that. But for pop-up purposes, you know, if you want to tap it, I actually had to go through and do all 36 freaking pages all over again in each one of these pop-ups. And I remember it's at this point where I was like, I thought I was done, and I was like,
I know this morning you're like, oh man, this is being a little wonky. I'll be right back.
I ducked out for a minute with you. Yeah, you're like,
yeah, time went by and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, thankfully I was done. I got it, because all the rest of the process was very simple. You know, in my head, I wasn't sure, do I start at $2.99 or do 99 cents? But I was like,
good price.
This right here, I was like, I'm very happy with this. And I was like, and even if it tanks, I'm looking at it kind of like this way. First of all, it's fulfilled me emotionally speaking. Like, it's like this little kid finally actually drew a picture and put it up on the fridge and said, look at what I did. And you know what? Here's the crazy thing is the last I looked, it was number 6 bestseller in children's.
Number 5.
It's number 5 now?
Yeah.
So number 5 bestseller in children's Monkey and Apes books. So yes, Monkey and Ape, that is a friggin' category. I was like, I'll take it. Short stories, I think I was number 8 last I knew it. I could be off on that number. Let's see here. I'll pop.
Dude, you're doing well. That's for sure. Yeah. Doing well.
Yeah, actually, it's the highest rank I've seen it so far today. It's at 52,000 in total in the paid store. Number 6 in Apes and Monkeys. Number 35 in short stories. That was it. Number 100 in Apes and Monkeys and print books, which is funny because I don't even have the print books out, which is crazy. But the funny thing is, after dealing with all of doing everything, by the time I got to the cover, dude, snap. It was easy.
You're like, oh, this is cake.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, man, this is like a cakewalk. I pretty much already had the character set. I had the background already before. And see, I created the image, but like a ding-dong. I must have overwritten it on the XCF file, because I went back to the XCF file. I was like, oh, it's gone. I'm like, no. And I'm like, well, I wanted to make it square anyways, because in my mind, I like the square children's books. Just feels right to me. I don't know about the other ones. They don't jive with me. It's just a personal preference. So I'm doing the square format, and that's where if I would have kept the original image, it would have just made it stretchy looking and just.
I don't think it would have looked right. Yeah. No, it looks better square.
So now, with the square format. Now, here's the funny thing: is you pay attention to the cover. And anybody that wants to get the chance, obviously, you can click the affiliate links in our description below, or you can go to Amazon.com into the Kindle store. You're going to look up Grumpy Gus Beats the Blues. That's the name of the book. Grumpy Gus Beats the Blues. I just love the alliteration. Alliteration just pumps me up. I just feel like Dusty Rhodes saying a promo in wrestling. You know, he's juking his wrestling. So any event, Grumpy Gus Beats the Blues, and actually I've created a new pseudonym, and that's Dale Lewis. I'm still going to present myself as Dale. You know, you're going to probably when I get it up on Amazon Author, which I'm not in a rush to do that. until I get my second book, I'll probably put up Amazon Author Central profile. And I'm pretty much going to put it like just, something like a shirt, casual shirt, smiley face, that kind of a thing, and probably a picture with me with my book or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be Dale Lewis because that's my first and middle name. And I thought that just makes sense. So,
well, I tell you what, man, I'm serious. We'll take a look at it. What I was saying about the hardbound.
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of cool. That would be one of those books that you order 100 copies or so and show up at a bookstore and do like a book signing for. You know what I mean?
We'll get to there.
Just saying.
We'll cross that bridge when it comes, man.
I'm just saying.
Obviously, if we do hardback, we got to go over towards Ingram Spark is the one I'm familiar with and you're familiar with, and this $49 setup fee on one-time setup fee. It's not bad. In the same instance, though, I need to see that I'm actually profiting much more than that. So here's what I'll tell you. This is
sure
if I can actually exceed about $1,000 to $3,000 per month with that one title, then I will definitely do hardback. But my thing is right now I'm going to focus on the things that I know well, which I know Kindle very well, obviously. I know CreateSpace pretty well. And here's the next thing is we're actually going to stretch out into audiobooks for a change. So I'm not going to hire out for a change because it's only 370 words. I've got a high quality microphone. My thought is and I told you this via message, I'm going to do the Kevin S. Allen method. It's just, fuck it, try it. What's the worst that can happen? You get it wrong. Oh, well, it's not a big deal. And actually, this is very funny. I don't know if I'd ever shared with you. There's on YouTube, there is a guy that actually is very successful in ACX, a narrator, and he actually used to do voiceovers for like car commercials and like, big arena shows and such like that. So he used to do those type of things. And the funny thing is he's like, yeah, I just believe I can, be able to go in and just do these book narrations and be done with it. And he's like, he had to submit his first book multiple times because he was getting like the levels wrong and he was violating everything. At least now, my experience of working with self-publishing with Dale L. Roberts, I actually have a better grasp of audio, and having my buddy Russ helps out too because he knows how to use Audacity. Which big shout out to Russ Webster, our boy out there in the old Sandusky, Ohio.
Sandusky.
Russ actually listens to our episodes via SoundCloud. He's actually one of our followers. So cheers to you, Russ. You're my best bud, bro, and we really appreciate you supporting the show like you always have.
Absolutely, man. I tell you what, this is exciting on so many levels, man, because you put out quality work. Here's another, and I've told you this ever since the first book I've read of yours. I'm like, your material helps people. It touches them, right? And not in a creepy way, not in the clown coming out of the woods, drawing you into the woods kind of way.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. But, in a way, and this is just another example, man. You're going to be able to help ingrain something in the kids. It's going to bring the parents and the kids together. It's a little fun bedtime story. I don't know if everybody still does this, but, man, we used to read an hour to 2 hours every night and stuff with our daughter and stuff when she was going to bed. So children's books, as soon as I read this, I was like, this is a winner on so many levels. Yeah. Not just because you're my friend, right? I tried to.
I'm gonna put like I'm gonna smear poop on the paper and be like,
it's solid gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I try to objectively kind of look at things, especially any kind of material like this. You don't want to present it to the public if it's a piece of shit, right? You just don't, unless it's a coloring book. But anyway, those are other examples. So, your content's always got that. You want to help, or you want to deliver a message, or touch somebody. And dude, this flat out knocks it out of the park. For your first kids book, brilliant. This is great. I can't say enough good things about it. Everybody has to go buy it. And if you don't believe me, take a peek. Just take a fucking peek at it. It'll make you smile. A 43-year-old grown man reading this thing in his car, right? Laughing and smiling. That's what that did today.
Awesome, man. I'm glad it definitely made your day.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that there's a few times I think I found myself grinning like ear to ear as I'm putting this thing together because Just some of the
Yeah, it was good
pages I would
stuff.
put it together, and I'm just smiling because it would come together. Because here's the thing is, I always have a general idea of what I'm typically doing when I'm writing. With this one right here, I had a general idea, but I hadn't done the actual process of putting a kid's book together. So that was my big apprehensions. But here's the important thing, hopefully something that everybody should learn. If you've listened to this podcast long enough, or if you're new to it right now, you can go back and listen to previous episodes. You'll discover that one of the greatest metrics to success is action. Action. Doesn't matter if you're successful or if you fail at it. Man, I just can't tell you how many times I talk to these aspiring entrepreneurs and self-publishers alike that they just kind of like, well, I got this idea. I got this plan. I got this idea.
Do it.
Okay, when are you starting it? Well, it's my job. I'm kind of busy with my job. Well, guess what? Your job ain't going anywhere. It's going to be a bitch. And you know what? Yeah. It's going to suck the very life out of you eventually, unless you love it. Which at event, you're probably not interested in being an entrepreneur. Yeah. And that's cool. That is totally cool. Day jobs are for some people, man. Actually, for quite a few people, and I won't knock you for it. But for those of you that are aspiring entrepreneurs, here is the biggest mistake I see is not doing anything. You know what doing nothing gets you? It gets you nothing. It gets you nothing.
It gets you nothing.
Nothing. That's the thing.
Yes.
You know? It's doing nothing gets you nothing.
Yes.
So here's the thing is, do something. Even if it's 5 minutes per day, you sit down. Let's say, for instance, you're like, Dale, I want to make a children's book. Okay, great. You're probably listening and going, holy shit, did he just say he did 36 hours and 3 days of work? Yes, and I'm not exaggerating. I got my wife for proof.
No,
I even have, Bionic Vapor from Twitch.tv. BV can be able to back me up that every time he was streaming, I would turn this thing on and I would just work as I'm sitting there listening to his stream. And I would just pop it every now and then, and I would say something, and that's the thing. And I didn't miss a lick of wrestling, although I didn't watch a lick of wrestling because wrestling was running on television, and I'm just working on monkey characters and stuff. So here's the thing: is you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, I only have 5 minutes per day, and you're telling me it takes 36 hours. First of all, lesson number 1: don't base your experience on somebody else's experience. Right. You might be able to do a book a lot quicker than me. Let's say, for instance, you don't have the ability or the skill set to actually do the artwork. You can hire out 5 minutes a day. Just sit on down, go over to Upwork, find a good artist, get him to do it for you. Say you don't have the money. Find a nephew, a niece, someone who can draw and say, I got a great idea. Let's sit on down, 5 minutes, boom, there you go. So that's the thing. Yeah. Too many people try to wait for this large block of time. And you know what the hell happens when a person has a large block of time away from their work or their regular job or their crazy work life? You know what happens? Well,
I thought it was called retirement. Yeah.
I need to rest. I deserve it. I just need to relax, and I'll get to that some other day. Someday never comes. Kevin, when does someday come for you?
Right now.
Yeah.
Someday never does. I just get it done.
Just get it done. It's either now or fucking never. Or never. You just point to a date and you say, that's the day I'm doing it. Let's say, for instance, I'm moving.
Mark it on your calendar.
September 30th, you know damn well my car's packed and I'm fucking heading out to the Midwest. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. That's not even a someday. It's September 30th. That is exact. Yep. I'm being very precise. You're saying to yourself, someday. Stop fooling yourself. Quit fooling yourself.
No, man, I completely
buy your own bullshit, but I'm not going to buy it.
I'm not buying it.
I won't. And you know what the thing is? I fed myself some of that fucking shit over the years. I sat there and said to myself, someday. Yeah. You know what I said? I said, fuck someday. Someday is not a day of the fucking week. So just get it out of your fucking vernacular.
Yeah. It's the damn truth too, man. And the sad part about it, brother, is there are people, honestly, in careers specialized more than anything. They're giving back. They love what they do. They're helping others and stuff. And that's a personal fulfillment. I get it. But honestly, the majority of people haven't taken that. Oh, here we go back to this, my man. Taking the time to know who they are, what they like, what they enjoy, what brings them fulfillment, right? To even explore those options. And that's really, really, really sad, man, because there's a lot of artists, painters, poets, musicians, writers, business owners, cupcake designers, wedding planners that haven't even been born yet because they're waiting on the someday. Someday I'll do it. Someday I'll get to it. And, and it's really sad, man, because here's a crazy part. My wife and I were having this discussion the other day, and every time we talk about this, I get really quiet. And she's like, why do you always get so quiet when we talk about this? I said, because it's the truth, and you just got to let that sink in sometimes. You only get one chance.
Yeah.
Right? You only get one shot at life, man. Don't take it so serious, because guess what? You're not going to get out alive. Bionic Vapor tagline right there for you folks. But it's the truth, man. You're not. You got one shot. That's it. You keep waiting till tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. One thing my dad taught me, he said, you can spend and lose all of your money. You work really hard, you can gain it all back. He said, the only thing that you cannot get back is time.
Amen.
Yeah.
And
and dude, you're on point. I mean, someday has to be now, because you never know. And be in the present moment. Enjoy the fact that you're alive today, not because it's Wednesday, not because it's Monday or Friday or Saturday or whatever. Just be alive,
Yeah.
Dude. And I love that about you, man, because you bring that to the table every single day. I think as soon as you hit the floor, you're grateful that you are ready to rock and roll for another day and just looking to see what you can create. Am I correct?
That's really it. Here's the funny thing is I don't set up purposely thinking I'm going to create something magical today. It's just second nature to me now. You ready for this? This is a mind blower. It's been 2 years since I walked away from my day job. And you know what? Every single day, it further cements why I walked away from my job and how I've been so fortunate to do that. I can't tell you. I got to know my wife a lot better. I got to be around my cat. My cat's freaking something else, developing her own personality. And it's just second nature to me. A lot of people go, I could never work from home. I'd never be able to focus. The fuck you won't!
When you got an empty fridge, you'll be able to focus, right?
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah, that's the thing. And, you will. Trust me. And if you're doing something you're truly passionate about, you won't need a boss over top of you cracking that whip going, oh, you need this by a deadline. No, you're going to be your own boss. You're going to be smart about it because you're going to go, okay, do I like ramen noodles and donating plasma at the nearest blood bank? Probably not. So I might want to get to work. That's really what compels and gets me moving. So a lot of people kind of use this excuse of, I don't think I'd have the discipline. You get the discipline to fucking wash your clothes, take a shower, fucking shave for some of you, or do up your hair, go to a fucking job that you fucking detest.
Yes.
That's discipline. Yes. You're going to a shit job. Are you kidding me? You take half that energy and put it into a fucking business from home. I guarantee you'll go, holy crap, he was right. I had enough discipline. Trust me, you'll have discipline. Here's the cool thing. You can stay up to 7 o'clock in the morning if you want to doing your job. Or if you don't want to, you can just go click, put it shut, get the work done later. And the nice thing is I'm not saying like later, like someday. Like, so for instance, today, I know I have to sit down. See, I consider this playtime. This is fun time when you and I get to talk on Bootstrap Businessmen. So I know I get to chill. I get to relax. Probably after I'm done with this, I'm going to put some food in my stomach. And I know I was eating one week before we got on air, but don't judge me. I'll probably eat a little bit, and then I'll get to work on my paperback. And I don't feel pressed. But here's the funny thing is, even if I didn't put up my paperback, guess what? Don't care. It'll happen. Because I make shit happen. Yeah. I make shit happen. That's the thing is, I don't have discipline to do it at home. Well, fuck. You know what? Guess what? Someone else is going to discipline you to do their bidding. To make you. A lot of people are just like, oh, it's not like that. I love my job. Then quit bitching about it.
Yeah. Yeah, quit bitching about it. You know what I mean? If you're fulfilled, great. I don't find too many people that really are, to be honest with you. just go anywhere, man. Service industry, check out at a store or something, and just look at all the gloomy damn faces that are. Hi, how are you today? Oh, did you find everything you were looking for? You know what I mean? It's just like, wow, you're just little bitty robots, right?
It really is such a scary
yeah.
thing, man. And
Dude, it is.
I wish people that need this message would listen to it and understand that it might sound like I'm very hostile about it, but it's more that I'm passionate about it. I can't express to you this much that what happens if you die in that job you hate and you have not fulfilled your life's purpose. You have not affected the people that you should be affecting. That's really the end of the day is I want to fulfill myself. And at the same time, man, here's the biggest thing that makes me happy. You know what? This gives me goosebumps. I can feel it right now. The fact that I knew on the other side of this computer, when I sent you the link to that book and you read it, I knew a smile came across your face. That fulfilled me. That took my fulfillment from right here up to here, because then I noticed that, man, people really like this. And now I'm starting to see it even more and more so. My cousin, by the way, she just messaged me. I popped over on Facebook really fast to post her link on our Bootstrap Businessmen like page, which, by the way, those of you that are listening to us on the various platforms and podcasts, I'll name all of them, but fuck that. You know where you're listening to it at. So get on over to Facebook, find Bootstrap Businessmen there, and click the like on that page, because sometimes we'll post up live links. When I get out to Ohio, it's going to be a very interesting live format that we're going to probably start to conduct, because it'll actually be us in person, no more headphones. You and I can actually sit and have a conversation. It'll be almost like a fireside chat. Kelly's already said she'd probably jump into some of the conversations. So Bootstrap Businessmen is going to grow from just two guys to probably two guys and a gal. And I don't know, maybe we'll get Teresa into one of the broadcasts, you think?
Two guys, a gal, and a bionic vapor.
Yeah, dude, that would be a trip to have him and come in there with his ski mask on, which by the way, I know we've been talking a lot about self-publishing. We'll go over to self-publishing with Dale L. Roberts, my YouTube channel. Those of you who haven't had a chance, go over to DaleLRoberts.com/YouTube. You'll go to my channel. It's a fun, tongue-in-cheek video that I put out every Tuesday. It used to be Tuesday and Thursday. It'll be back to that format come November, December time.
It's got good lessons packed in there, though.
Today, oh my gosh, I would say was probably my most fun producing an episode, because I had Bionic Vapor, my first collaboration with somebody, and it's a cross-platform collaboration. So he doesn't have a YouTube channel, but I don't have a Twitch channel either. So we kind of put our stuff together, and he was so much fun to work with. And I work from scripts. I won't lie to you. If you ever watch the video, you'll be able to tell, I'm pretty much reading from a script, okay? And there's a few exceptions to the rule, like anytime I'm screaming or yelling or, having meltdowns, I do some ad lib in there. But for the most part, I send him a script, and he gets like butthole tight. He's like, go. He's thinking that he's got to keep buttoned up. He's got to read by the actual script, and I laughed.
4 scores and 7 years ago.
Dude, he sends me 30 minutes of content. It took me freaking 2 hours to edit that down to 2 minutes. And at that point, if you actually watch the video, he probably has maybe about a minute of airtime out of the 9 minutes that video is on. And it slayed me, because he kept redoing it. He kept redoing it. And I was like, and the funny thing is, I took his last take, which was an ad lib. He just goes and he starts firing off. He's like, first you go in there, you go to the Jackie Chan movies, and then you go down to Middle Earth where Chuck Norris films, and then you're going to pass Steven Seagal, and then you see those itchy tube socks, and then you get below those. I was like, dude, that was what I wanted from you. I was like, I wanted you to be yourself, and when he was himself, that was really the best. You get towards the end of the actual video, I don't know if you caught the part where I'm asking him questions. Those were actually all ad-lib ones. And the funny thing is, he ad-libbed those ones like 20 times. I was like, why did you ad-lib it so many times? I just took your first one. He's like, well, I thought this other take was really good. I'm like, no, I'm not going to, no. I was like, that was enough. You could have just ad-libbed once. That's it, buddy. But big shout out to Bionic Vapor. Really appreciate it, man. He sent some new followers actually towards my direction. Yesterday's video I saw 4 or 5 additional subscribers over the last day. So thank you very much, BV.
Nice.
Appreciate it. I think I was even inside his channel today, and a few people were like, dude, that video was hilarious. You're very witty. And I'm like, funny thing is, it's like, it's pretty easy to be witty when you've already got a script set. You can edit everything. So like today, if you try to get me to give me a witty joke, I'm like, the chicken.
Clown rapist.
Yeah, exactly. Making jokes about, rape and incest or whatever else I was, suicide. That was it. Oh, wow. I just threw a third one in there. Trifecta, folks. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and hit all these very offensive things. My apologies if I offended you.
Channel's getting shut down tonight.
Yeah, literally. We're getting some complaints over on YouTube. That's all right. We won't be running any more live hangouts, at least with Google. And speaking of, we're getting down to the end of our hour, man. I would love to go to the 2-hour marathon, but I know that at this point I gotta really get some food in my stomach.
You got a lot. You got a lot to get accomplished over the next day or so, man.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting on to
where
have
you going?
A good time for my birthday. I'm going. Crazy.
Where are you gonna be at?
Going off the rails on a crazy train.
Oh Jesus, little Ozzy Osbourne for you.
Yeah, but in any event, So, folks, all joking aside, please. We could really use your help, and it's just so small. All you got to do is you go into the description below or wherever you're at in the particular platform. You're going to click on that Amazon link. Look, it's not going to spam you. You're not going to be going on anything that's going to hurt or have any kind of malware on it. It's going to direct you over to Amazon.com. I need you to bookmark that. As soon as you've bookmarked that, anytime you go and do your shopping through Amazon.com, a small portion, I mean a small portion, we're talking like literally anywhere from 4 to 6% of all sales are going to come back to Bootstrap Businessmen. It's going to help us provide you better podcasts. And sometime in the very near future, Kevin and I will be able to get together, and also I can be able to speak as well. And we'll be able to use some of these costs. The thing is, Kevin and I have not put a single dime into our pocket. We've made some money in the show. I won't fully disclose the money, but I'm going to tell you this right now. It is not even close to being in the thousands. It's enough that it actually gets it to where we can continue to provide you guys with good quality content and something that you can either A, be entertained by, or B, become informed by, or C, all of the above. So all you got to do is click that Amazon link, bookmark that in your browser, save it for later. You're going to do your normal shopping. It'll be no extra cost to you, and it's going to help benefit us and help really build this show. If you happen to order through that link, drop us a line. Tell us. We definitely will reward you. I know. Sounds kind of crazy. We will reward you for using our affiliate links. So all you got to do is just drop us a line at bootstrapbusinessmen@gmail.com. That's bootstrapbusinessmen@gmail.com. Kevin, I think it is that time of the evening. Bring it home for us, man.
All right. Yeah, I really can't wait till we're together because I kind of see my imagination goes a little wild every once in a while. I see us going out and talking to business owners, sitting down with somebody that just started their own home base. Whatever the case is, maybe meeting them on location, advertising their product for them, whatever the case is. But, again, folks, click the link. That does kind of help support all of that. And honestly, this is free content for you. But on the backside of it, it's not free to really put it together all the time. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I just kind of want to recap this real quick. Go to Amazon.com, type in Grumpy Gus Beats the Blues. Go ahead and download, purchase a copy for your nephews, your aunt, your uncle, for yourself. Honestly, you'll love it. And truly get the message out of that. Be happy with yourself. Find that fulfillment within. Don't really rely on somebody else to do that for you. Don't rely on your job for fulfillment. Find it within. Stop waiting till tomorrow. Start making your dream or things that you want to see happen for your life. Start making those happen today. Even if it's 5 minutes. If you got an hour, great. If it's 5 minutes, take that 5 minutes. Write your goals down. The next 5 minutes that you get, start putting them into action. Trust me, that's all it takes for those steps to get the momentum rolling. Anyway, folks, Bootstrap Businessmen, we're out of here for the night. Dale, do you got any final words?
Please support the show by simply shopping at Amazon through the link in the show description. Every time you make a purchase through the provided link, a small percentage of sales goes back to support the show. There's no additional cost to you, and it greatly helps us out. Simply go to the link, bookmark it in your browser, and do your shopping on Amazon while you support the Bootstrap Businessmen podcast. Thanks for tuning in to Bootstrap Businessmen.